Part of that city. Well, Pamela Brady is in Grand Forks tonight to tell us how Central Florida is helping the people there rebuild. Pamela?
Well, you know what? Grand Forks, North Dakota, life here is certainly not anywhere back to normal yet. In fact, today we had an opportunity to spend some time with families in their neighborhoods, and the devastation, you guys, is just incredible when you look at home after home after home that they have just lost everything. But you know what? It wasn't just with their homes, it was also with their schools. I'm standing in a roadway truck that has traveled about 2,000 miles, a little more than that, from Orlando to get here to Grand Forks, North Dakota. These books here, all that you're looking at, are 16,000 books that have been donated from folks in Central Florida to bring to build a library here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So I hope you'll join us at 5:30 as we build a library and bring back the books to Grand Forks, North Dakota. We'll see you then.
All right. Thank you, Pamela.
Central Floridians are known for our giving spirit. A good example of that, how we're helping Grand Forks, North Dakota.
In April, Grand Forks was completely flooded. All the schools closed. Libraries and books were washed away. So people in Central Florida, including Channel 6 viewers, volunteered to help by bringing back the books. Pamela Brady's in Grand Forks tonight with the story.
Boy, this is an incredible story, and I've got to tell you guys right now, I've got about 24 little Grand Forks volunteers that are helping me unload this big roadway truck that traveled all the way from Orlando with 16,000 books. Come on this way and you'll see all the kids as they're opening them up. And you know what you can also see is they're reading messages. Messages from our kids from Orlando to the kids here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Of course, I think most folks know that in the flooding, these kids lost every single book that they had in the elementary school. So the folks in Orlando, givers that they are, came up with 16,000 books. Roadway donated the truck, and here we are.
By mid-April, the dams could no longer hold back the river. Nothing could hold back the river. It had claimed the city of Grand Forks. Normal life was washed away.
Oh my gosh.
Almost all of Grand Forks' 50,000 residents were evacuated. The city was scarred by water and then by a fire that left downtown buildings gutted. But the people of Grand Forks vowed to return.
The people in this part of the country are pretty hardy people, and we do what we have to do, and when we get back into it, I'm sure it's going to be devastating, but we'll do it.
But months later, many have not returned, and much work remains. Houses and possessions lay scattered. The flood dislocated entire neighborhoods, closed all but 2 of the 19 schools.
So this is the library.
And left Dr. Ann Porter, the principal of Lincoln Elementary, without any books for her kids.
To see all these beautiful books gone and these beautiful stories is really sad.
And he held her in his arms and rocked her and said...
In Orlando, school counselor Nancy Studeman began a campaign to collect books for Grand Forks schools. She enlisted Books A Million manager Laurel Everson.
Do you think they'd like to read something like this?
Yeah.
They began collecting books from school children, teachers, customers, employees, and Channel 6 viewers.
Some of the comments that the kids made to me were, I couldn't believe it if I didn't have books to read.
And along with the gift of the book went the gift of a message.
The person on the other end out at Grand Forks reading the book will say, ah, he thought enough about me to take the time to buy this book and to bring it here.
So last week, all the books were packed up onto a truck donated by Roadway Express.
There'll probably be as many as 10 drivers involved in taking it up. It's like a Pony Express.
16,000 books began their journey up to Grand Forks. A 7-day cross-country relay of volunteer truck drivers.
You can see how busy our little volunteers are. They are so excited about the books here. And Hillary's got a huge load that she's taken right into Century Elementary because this is one of the schools that is left that wasn't flooded, wasn't damaged, and that's where we're putting all the stock of all the books. And then later tonight and tomorrow, we're going to sift through them and decide which book goes to which school. It is so sweet. And you know, the neatest thing, David, that I'm hearing from all the kids as we talk to them today is that they can't even believe that our kids and our families in Central Florida would care so much to send them books when they live so far away. And And I'm Pamela Brady, live in Grand Forks, and we are taking books off the truck. We've got 16,000 books that were donated by you for the kids here in Grand Forks that lost all their books because of the flooding. So join us for our story coming up next.
This is Channel 6 News.
Just 2 months ago, the Red River flooded the town of Grand Forks, North Dakota. Almost all of the 50,000 residents in Grand Forks were forced to evacuate, and many still haven't returned. Their homes, their schools, their normal way of life, all destroyed by floodwater. Also in the flood, the schools in Grand Forks lost almost all their books.
But last week, a truck loaded with 16,000 books left Orlando for Grand Forks. Pamela Brady is there now with the books and with the story.
You guys, this is an incredible story, and we are so busy because we've got 16,000 books to get off this truck, to sort through them tonight, and to get them organized to go into different elementary schools. Right now, we're right outside Century Elementary School, which actually is just one of 2 schools left that was not completely devastated by the flooding. So we're here today with kids that are just volunteering to help us. They are so excited about the books. A lot of librarians that can't believe we're getting so many books here, and just it is incredible. You know, the flooding was so devastating in Grand Forks, North Dakota. In fact, if we take you back to just a couple of months ago, where homes were flooded completely up to their roofs. Now, as folks are rebuilding, they have an awful lot of work to do, but not just in the homes, also in their schools, because as I said, so many of the schools were actually closed. In fact, none of these kids have been back to school yet. So folks in Central Florida organized a book drive. The truck came from Central Florida, bought over 16,000 books. And Lacey, who is a little girl who went to Lincoln Elementary School, who lost all of her own books, thinks this is pretty special.
I think it's very, very nice because we had all these books in our basement too, because that was our playroom, and we lost that too.
And we'll let you know how we're doing tonight. Again, we've got a lot of work to do, but we've got a lot of terrific volunteers, and we'll catch you back tonight at 11, you guys.
Now, they knew you were coming, but how was the reception?
Oh, you know, it was just incredible. It's amazing because we're talking about books, and these folks have really so much going on to rebuild their lives. I mean, so many families lost everything they had in their homes, but when they get the books and when they read these little messages, you guys, on the inside of the books that say, "We care about you," they're just touched. They're tickled that folks in Central Florida, and especially our children, would care enough to send them books.
That's great.
We're proud of everyone who helped.
Oh, we sure are.
Very neat effort. Pamela, thank you.
I'm Pamela Brady, live in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and at this late hour, we are sorting through 16,000 books that the folks in Central Florida, you guys, gave to the kids here in North Dakota. I'll have that story coming up.
This is Channel 6 News.
2 months ago, the Red River flooded the town of Grand Forks, North Dakota. Almost all of the 50,000 residents in Grand Forks had to evacuate. In fact, a lot of people still haven't been able to return. Their homes, their schools, their normal way of life, all destroyed by the floodwaters. Also in the flood, the schools in Grand Forks lost almost all their books.
But last week, a truck loaded down with 16,000 books that you donated left Orlando. Tonight, it's in Grand Forks. Pamela Brady is there, too, with the story. Pamela?
This has been such an incredible day. You know, it's been a day of really up and down emotions because we spent the first part of the day today going with families through neighborhoods, and they showed us just hundreds and hundreds of homes that were totally devastated by the floods. And then we came here to Century Elementary School, and our truck of 16,000 books arrived with Roadway Express. So we unloaded those. The kids helped us, and that was so much fun. And right now, again, as I mentioned, we're sorting through these books. We've got librarians from the city of Grand Forks, North Dakota, that are helping us sort through the books. And it's really actually pretty hard because as you're reading through these books and sorting them, you flip open the cover, and our kids in Central Florida, and lots of the adults too, I should say, actually wrote messages in the front of the books. And I wanted to share one with you that's from Kiera from Winter Park, and Kiera's 8 years old. And it says, she writes, "Dear people of Grand Forks, I hope you find a new home to live in. I hope you get food and find joyness and be happy. I'm so sorry about what happened at Grand Forks." And I think it's messages like this one from Kiera that show these kids in Grand Forks that we really do care.
The National Guard come by and said, "It's time to leave." We said, "Yes, sir," and out the door we went.
The flooding in mid-April forever changed the lives of the people of Grand Forks. Of the 50,000 people who live here, 45,000 were forced to leave, and many had nothing to come back to.
It is heartbreaking to walk through a house like this where a family used to live when you can see that they have lost everything they owned, little children's books we're finding everywhere. This little baby doll was left behind, and then there's things like this, sweet little memories that you can never get back.
And it wasn't just homes. Schools were hit just as hard.
This is the water line.
All but 2 libraries were destroyed. Every book was lost. When Orlando School Counselor Nancy Studeman heard the news, she was heartbroken. So heartbroken, she organized a book drive to rebuild a library for the children of Grand Forks. Roadway donated the truck, and 10 volunteer drivers brought the books north.
Somebody get this.
And what a welcome we got. Dozens of little volunteers unloading and excited about Central Florida's gift to them.
It's really nice of all those people in Florida to donate the books, since probably they've never met us or anything. We don't know what it's like up here.
Having people from Orlando come up here and care that much about us is really reassuring and hopeful.
And because Central Florida cared enough, little bookworms like Lacey will have a whole library of new books to read.
I think it's very, very nice that they're thinking of us when we didn't even know them.
But now we feel like we do.
And we really do. Now, first off tonight, I just wanted to quickly thank the Orange County Public Schools, Books A Million, Roadway Express, and certainly all the folks in Central Florida who donated all these books. You guys have just given a gift that these kids will use and love for years to come.
We have lots of heart here.
Yeah, it looks to me like you had a tough time getting them to unload that truck because the kids were tearing into those books.
You guys wouldn't have believed it. But you know what, you guys? These kids lost their school books, but dozens of kids today also told us that since most of them have their family rooms in basements, of course, we don't know basements in Central Florida, but most of their books, even at home, were in basements. So most of the kids also lost all their personal books. So when they saw books on the truck today, they just went nuts. They got the books, they ripped them open, and they even said, you know, can we take some with us? So they were so excited. And certainly just said to us, please tell the folks in Central Florida just how grateful we are.
Consider it done.
Pamela, tell everyone there we say hello.
Oh, I sure will.
All right, with Pamela halfway across the country, Pat's here with weather. Pat, how's it going?